Avianox steps through the large door in the throne room and observes its usual purple glow. The door thumps closed behind him. He sees Forusk sitting, eyes closed, in solitary thought in his throne, in the middle of the wide room, accompanied only by crystals, the power of which he uses to concentrate. Behind the throne, which is facing Avianox, is a great window with a nighttime view of the landscape of civilization that is the great empire of Forusk Fugshaal, sprawling out toward the horizon. As Avianox walks forward, the lonely clip-clopping of his shoes can be heard, among a silence so profound that one could almost feel the sound of footsteps wishing it could go outside to play with the other sounds, instead of being trapped in this giant, bald, and silent room. Avianox completes the silence by coming to a halt, and Forusk opens his eyes. Avianox speaks.
Forusk Fugshaal, my lord.
Greetings, Avianox. With what subject matter have you come to delight me this night?
Forusk replies with a sneer.
I only implore you to look at the starry landscape behind you, for which you have labored so hard to make rise to glory.
Avianox points to the blanket of 100 decillion lights manifested by the society feeding from Forusk's hand, as it shames the night sky above with its superlative glitter, and he continues.
Is it not true that existence is so much more than just the self?
A rhetorical quandary most elegant, Avianox.
Forusk laughs a bit.
But I would argue that the self, as a conceptualization of reality, is, at the very least, sufficient.
Avianox shakes his head and sighs, then bites his lip and looks away for a moment. Very soon he returns to the conversation, however.
Forusk, you know why I have come to you tonight, do you not?
Of course I know, Avianox. I knew long before I even heard the first word of you,
Forusk says cockily.
Then I hope you also know how much we respect your intelligence, and how much we fear your impending absence,
Avianox says with worry in his face. Forusk stands up.
Listen, Avianox. Whatever argument you're about to throw at me, I've already considered it 100 times before.
But could you consider it once more?
Forusk looks intrigued.
Once more? All right, once more, and then never again.
He continues.
My magical experimentation is dangerous. Were it to go wrong, not only would I be at risk, but an area the size of the land of Ayerian could be destroyed around me. Obviously, it would be best to keep such experimentation away from the Empire. It follows that a base of operations should be set up deep into the ocean, so that if something goes wrong, all that is destroyed is a little water. The far seas, however, are dangerous as well. I could get lost at sea for several decades, or be swallowed by giant waves or giant beasts. As my intelligence is of great importance to the Empire, this would have catastrophical consequences. The question is thus, do we keep Forusk here and endanger the Empire, or do we send Forusk off and endanger the Empire? Such is the question that has kept me here for the last decade, unable to make any progress in my research.
It is a difficult decision,
Avianox replies.
One I and the Council would rather not make.
Forusk looks at Avianox with a look of contempt, somehow disgusted, despite having known this threat was coming for several years.
I'm afraid, Avianox, he says.
What are you afraid of, my lord?
Avianox says with a sense of hope slipping past his teeth and lips.
I'm afraid I'm going to have to make you,
Forusk says, allowing the final nail to enter the coffin. Strong winds spiral around the throne room as Forusk moves behind Avianox in the blink of an eye, putting his arm transformed into a crystalline scythe against the neck of his new hostage.
The room turns from purple to blue, corresponding to Forusk's increase in level of magical intensity. Having his wits about him, he quickly turns to face the throne room entrance. Surely enough, soldiers begin pouring into the room. They notice the hostage, but continue charging forward regardless. They have to capture Forusk at any cost. Forusk blocks their petty advances by trapping them in cages of ice. The hue of the room turns to a cold cyan. Forusk stays calm. All Arc-Wizards but one are outside the capital, and it just so happens that the remaining Arc-Wizard ingested a strong sleeping serum. But history knows that Forusk does not win this battle, and so history needs to do something even Forusk does not expect.